Hi legends. You mustn't press the like twice because then you unlike the video. Uneven numbers, brother, uneven numbers. Right, legends, I hope you've got your coffee, your tea, vodka, beer, whatever your preference is ready. Let's analyze the price of Bitcoin. This was a little trade that I highlighted and I said, well, legends, Aditya here in the live stream, I do see him here in the live stream, highlighted the trade before the breakout happened. And then I saw the breakout and I said, well, you know, if you haven't gotten into the trade just as yet, there's potentially another opportunity right over here. Okay, cool. And then obviously we had the breakout and I just shared the P&L saying, legends, you know, that's the high is my TP area. I'm going to take profits by the highs. And I took the trade here on Bluffin. And well, what can I say? Aditya also highlighting this trade here inside of the trading setups, speculating on the corrective structure being finished and this little pullback over here to make a higher low for continuation to the upside. So well done, Mr. Aditya. We nailed this trade to perfection. I closed the trade. I didn't leave any of the position to the upside open, took profits, closed the trade. There's my trading setup. And remember, if you'd like to come and trade with me on Bluffin, the more you trade, the more money gets airdropped into your account. Weeks has got that magic wheel. Okay, the more you trade, the more you get to spin that wheel with guaranteed prizes. Up to 1 Bitcoin up for grabs. So go check out the links down in the description. It's your way to support the channel and it's also where you get the best deals from the exchanges. Okay, legends, now let's analyze the price of Bitcoin. And I'll say hello to the beautiful community. And I'll put the music a little bit softer here in the background so it's not irritating. You guys can hear my voice crystal clear, but it is nice. For me, you know, I just decided I sometimes get comments of people saying, we don't like the music, it's so distracting. I like music in the background. I always play music while I'm trading. And I've just decided I'm going to put some music in the background. But, you know, at least it will be soft enough so it's not distracting. You can still hear my voice very clearly. And, right. Smash up the like on your way in, legends. This trade has played out to perfection. I hope you took profits by the highs. It does look like it can still find a little bit of upwards momentum. I'm still looking at the trend here to the upside to see if we successfully break out or do we get a rejection. But it looks like it's grinding. It's grinding here to the upside. And the recent highs are still made with high volume. Okay, which tells me that this can still be a third wave here to the upside until we have a bigger correction and another claim of the high with lower volume. Then I'm going to say, okay, maybe there's a deeper three-wave structure coming. We make a nice little higher low for continuation back to the upside. And legends, as per the thumbnail, there are still massive buying happening at these levels. Massive buying happening at these levels. And it kind of reminds me, if I go back here onto the weekly time frame and I just go look at the price of Bitcoin, because I remember this happening. I'll show you guys now. Yeah. Right? Do you guys remember this little zone where the ETF got launched? Right? This little zone over here. There was still someone aggressively buying even the highs here to the upside. But in this zone, there was still massive whales buying. And there was everyone just saying, this is absolutely insane. We've reached the top. You know, we're going to go into a deeper correction here to the downside. How on earth are whales buying here? It's a trap. They're setting up a trap. We're not going higher. And then bam, here to the upside. And even now, with this little push here to the upside, trading above the $100,000 area, there is still a lot of whales buying in this zone. Okay, which tells me that even if we get a little bit of a deeper correction here to the downside, it's still a great zone to buy in, because you have to remember, whales do not care about sniping an entry. They buy in a zone predicting where the price could go in the next couple of months. Right, so whether Bitcoin makes a little, you can just take this trading setup here out the way. Whether Bitcoin finds upwards momentum here, it maybe rejects and it comes back for a larger correction here to the downside, even hitting here $97,000, right? I can just imagine that the whales will be buying up more because that's a little dip where you could nibble. And I think even if the correction comes down lower to sweep up the entire consolidation area, okay, this zone, this little zone over here, whatever price does inside of this zone is still a great accumulation zone, because I can see that this is where smart money is still buying. Or let me rephrase, this is where the whales are still accumulating, right? Okay, so obviously it looks like the bull market is still intact. And even with a larger correction to the downside, which I'll tackle in a moment, I think worst case scenario over here on the price of Bitcoin is maybe we break out of this trend, we get acceptance back below, we find some weakness, and the worst case scenario that I do see over here is sweeping up these lows. Okay, and maybe even $85,000, which is round about this low over here. That is the low. This is the zone. This is the golden ticket, and I don't know if we're going to get it. But if we do get this line over here, I think it will be a massive, massive buying the dip opportunity on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of our favorite alts. Right, so I mean, dips are made for buying. When you are inside a bull market, dips are made for buying, right? Until proven otherwise, the trend is still up. We are still making higher highs. We are still making higher lows. The momentum is still to the upside. The trend is your friend until the very end. And for now, the trend is still up. And even if price makes a nasty correction here to the downside, okay, zooming out, always zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. Even if price falls here to the downside, scaring the crap out of everyone, okay, guess what? You still have a low, you have higher highs, all the way up, and guess what? This will still be a higher low. Right, so watch and listen, and all the legends over here, welcome to the live stream. Do not be scared if we get a nasty correction up until $85,000, but this is the level that needs to hold. If we get a nasty correction to the downside, you want to see some consolidation, you want to see price slow down, you want to see some nice bullish local CVD proof of support, MACDs, moving averages, RSI, whatever your favorite indicator is, to determine proof of support. You know, this is the zone that it needs to happen, and this is the worst case scenario that I see. If the structure had to turn around here, $85,000 is the zone that will most likely hold. It has a high probability of holding. Okay, so let's take the scribble here out the way and just go and quickly analyze the price of Bitcoin here on the small time frames and see, well, where does the probabilities lie. Also, let me say hi to the beautiful community over here, and then we can jump into a little bit of altcoins. Okay, I know everyone wants to see their favorite altcoin. Is it in buying zone? Can we still expect another low? Can we start nibbling on a couple of swing trades? I still have a couple of swing trades open. I still have my swing trade open on TIA, on Weeks. I have a swing trade open on Bluffin, and I have reduced a couple of my trades, and I have actually closed a couple of trades, and I've actually added to some other trades, because legends, I'm not sure if it has a name. Okay, I'm not sure whether it has a name, but whether you trade ADA or whether you trade XRP or whether you trade Arweave or whether you trade TIA, I can tell you guys now, when money starts flowing into the altcoins, it's not about how many altcoins you buy. It's about choosing the smart ones and manage them properly, because you will still make the same amount, more or less, to the upside, right? I often see people fall into the trap where they think of, the more I buy, the more different altcoins I buy, the better, right? You might get lucky and you catch a gem or two that does a 10x or a 20x or a 40x, and that's generally in your low cap category, and that is not where your portfolio should be heavily focused. that is high risk, small capital, and you should primarily be focused on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of your top layer ones. And then, you know, when you diversify a little bit down into the gaming sector and the AI sector and the low cap coins, that's where you should deploy less capital, right? But what I'm trying to point over here is it's good to diversify your capital. It's great. Okay, it's not just good. It's great to diversify your capital, but you don't have to have 50 altcoins in your portfolio. You could make the same amount of money with 10 or even 7 altcoins in your portfolio if you just choose them properly and you buy them at the right levels, because a rising tide will raise all the ships. They will all go up. Most of them, 95% of the altcoin ecosystem, when things get crazy and dominance falls here to the downside, most of them are going to go up. Some of them you just might have to be a little bit more patient. But don't be that person that has 100 altcoins in their portfolio, and then, you know, I can guarantee you there will be someone with 10 altcoins in their portfolio, and they will most likely make the same amount of money as you, if not more, because they are able to manage their trades better. It is very difficult to manage a massive, large portfolio that just consists of 100 altcoins. Okay, so I thought I wanted to give that little bit of advice, just in terms of how I manage my altcoin portfolios as well. And because people lose money because they lose track of what's going on inside of their portfolios. One altcoin has done already a 20x. You forgot about it. You didn't manage it properly. You were supposed to take profits. You didn't take profits. And then it dumps back to the downside another 60-70%. Okay. So keep it realistic, keep it manageable, but diversify into different sectors. Okay, that's a better option to have some AI, have some gaming, have some file coins, have some oracles, have some, diversify into different sectors. Also, don't just have AI tokens, don't just have metaverse tokens. Right, cool legends. Let's dive into the comments, say hi to the beautiful community, and then we can get cracking here to analyze the price of Bitcoin. Fun Gummy, when likes, yes, like up the live stream. Like Mr. Crypto Big Brains, welcome to the live stream. Appreciate the support. Not financial advice. The mods in the house. Aditya, I saw you here a minute ago. Elizabeth, always here to support the channel. Appreciate you being here. I am well, thank you for asking. Buy me, okay, pressed it for the third time. Wave 3, Dewald, yes. Press the like button 3 times. Wave 3 is always the best wave to trade, right? Even an ABC, if you trade the C wave. Yeah, music banging, coffee ready. Cool, Jeffrey, let's go. Frank, hello, welcome to the live stream. Who else is here? Watch and listen. HBAR is breaking the trend line after 2 FIP bounces. Yes, we can go and look at some altcoins in a moment. I did see, can't really pronounce this person's name properly, but he did ask about KDA. Hits the $1 range, and a very technical question that is asked over here, but I will go and look at this, when we tackle the altcoin section. Okay, for now, let's go and analyze the price of Bitcoin, and then we can jump through some altcoins. Right, give Dewald some likes, please. Yes, Elizabeth, thank you so much. George, hello, Dewald. What is the first price level that you will personally take some profits on? Link. Thank you for the TA. People that have been following me for a while most probably know my strategy by now, and I am going to very likely stick to this strategy. And I'm not saying I'm not going to take profits on the way up, but some of the big coins, some of the coins where I have a decent amount of capital, okay, it's not a question for me of where I'm going to take profits. It's a question for me of when am I going to take profits. Right. Hi, Dewald. Can you provide insights on Total 3? Yes, we can go and analyze that in a moment. Hello, Dewald. Zilliqa, swing fail in 5 minutes. Right. Everyone wants to get into their favorite altcoin. Legends. I'm so tempted to just jump through the altcoins and go and check out these things that you guys are waiting for. But I think, I just want to focus here briefly on the price of Bitcoin, and then we can jump through our favorite altcoins in a moment, including Ethereum. Okay. No, BTC. Haha, BTC. Yes, let's do some BTC. I'm live on the live. Right, legends, let's dive in here quickly. Okay, so I mean, legends, there is two scenarios that I'm watching here. Let's just get back here onto the 1 hour time frame from a simplicity perspective. Someone asked a very, very important question this morning inside of our Legends Pro community. Okay, the question was, Dewald, do you find yourself, or anyone, do you find yourself that you actually struggle more with trading the more you get to learn? Where when I knew less, I actually did better in my trading. But the more I start to learn and the more I know, I'm going through a phase where I'm struggling with trading. And it is absolutely normal. Okay, this is what I can tell you. You can keep trading as simple and as complex as you would like it to be. And the reason I say that is that there are some traders, very, very successful traders around the world, but please hear me out. This can like to be day traders. They do not care whether Bitcoin is going to $1 million. They don't care if Bitcoin is going back to $10,000. All they do is apply their trading strategy based on the price action that they see in front of them today. They play the breakout. They take profits by the highs. Done. That's the trade done. They now wait for the next trading setup. They don't care whether Bitcoin is going to $500,000. Okay. From an investment perspective, that information could be important and relevant in terms of where do you need to take profits from an investment perspective. From a day trading perspective, you do not care if we're going back to $85,000 or whether we're going to $120,000. You don't care. You just apply your trading strategy. There's a beautiful trend forming, beautiful breakout. You put your stop below the low, you take profits by the highs. Only knowing this one simple strategy and mastering the strategy, okay, back testing it, making sure that the trend is finished forming, what constitutes a fake out, what do I need to look out for, where do I take profits, where's my stop loss supposed to go. When you master a simple trading strategy like this, you don't care about Elliott wave theory, you don't care about Fibonacci's, you don't even care about support resistances or anything that is complicated to you, but you need to master the strategy. Okay, you need to go and back test it. This is what makes you a successful trader. So that question that legend asked, okay, is actually a very important question, because you could be a trader that says, I am going to master the D-line strategy. I am going to back test the strategy. I don't care about any bloody altcoin. I'm just going to trade Bitcoin. Okay, because I can tell you guys now that there are day traders out there that make way more money than even benefiting from the momentum here to the upside on some of our favorite altcoins. Because a lot of traders buy their favorite altcoins, they nail the entries, they either don't take profits and price collapses on them, they were in the profits, or when price starts consolidating, like such, over here, they lose everything. Okay, they add too much to the position, they liquidate their accounts, their leverage is too high, whatever the case might be. Right, so I just wanted to point that out from an education perspective, legends. There is a D-line strategy. As simple as that. You broke out successfully. You have your stop below the low, you take profits by the highs. That trade played out to perfection. Okay, there was another one. Right, there was another one. Legends, there are so many. It's unbelievably scary how successful the trading strategy is, but no one puts in the time and the effort to go and master the strategy. Okay. So, legends, where price is at the moment, I'm still expecting a little bit higher. Okay. And I think this structure can be one of three things. Okay. Not easy. Trading is never easy. We are either forming a contracting leading diagonal here to the upside, where we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we could see a larger ABC correction or a three-wave structure to the downside. Maybe we find support in this box, but only once the high is in can we then take a Fibonacci from the low to the high and go work out the high confluence areas, but we don't know where that high is yet. So for now, price is there and we can use this Fibonacci. But as price moves up, you will drag your Fib to the upside, because at some point the structure needs to correct itself, and that correction could potentially be a great buying opportunity. So this is either a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a contracting diagonal, or it could be a double 1, 2, which is actually more bullish. So if it is a leading contracting diagonal, let's just finish the scenario over here. I will simply drag the top of my Fib to where the level or the pivot is going to be. And what I will be looking at for this trading setup, if price continues to pump here to the upside, okay, and it gets acceptance back inside the trend, that for me will be a sign of weakness. And you could potentially definitely come down from a day trading perspective, definitely a profit taking zone, but it could form a larger three-wave structure to the downside, where you will then look at the 382, 50%, 618, maximum target 786, where we do have some nice support at the 786. There's some decent support at the 786. So I would expect price from a nasty point of view here to the downside to at least get a bounce. Whether it makes a lower high and continues, but I would expect a bounce in this zone because of the massive support that's been building up here. So that is the one scenario that I'm looking at. Another scenario is that we are potentially building a double 1, 2 here to the upside, which looks like this: 1, 2, 1, 2, and then there is going to be a parabolic third wave here to the upside. 1, 2, 1, 2, and it just leaves the station and it doesn't turn around, and it is parabolic here to the upside. But they do have something in common. Okay, so after this double 1, 2, 1, 2 over here, I still expect a correction. The double 1, 2 might be a little bit shallower and then blast here to the upside, where if this is a contracting diagonal, it might have a deeper corrective structure to the downside. But as long as we make a higher low compared to the low over here, the structure is still bullish. Okay, hope that makes sense. Right, legends. Now, price is pumping. I am not interested in shorting or longing at this level at the moment. Okay, one area that I was looking at is, now what if this is A, B, C wave here to the upside, and we, so now I need to talk about the worst case scenario. Why is Bitcoin dominance not going down? Because Bitcoin is pumping at the moment. So love and attention is still going inside of Bitcoin at the moment. Remember, that is what Bitcoin dominance is. Bitcoin dominance just shows you where money is flowing to at the moment. And at the moment, money is flowing into Bitcoin. Okay. So legends, from a worst case perspective, okay, this could get very nasty here to the upside. A target that I'm potentially looking at is, if this is an A, B, C wave here to the upside, okay, where you have basically have ABC, 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 you basically have multiple ABC corrective structures, which basically looks like, it basically looks like a WXY, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, W, zigzag in W, zigzag in X, and then another double zigzag in Y. Okay, so this could be a WXY here to the downside, which means that you can form another ABC here to the upside, and then form a B, C that can go down as low as, guess what, $85,000. Right. So let's just quickly discuss the worst case scenario, because I want us to be prepared. If price turns around and it crashes here to the downside, I want us to be prepared. Dewald spoke about the scenario. It could potentially play out, but it will still be bullish when we hit those levels. So let's not be scared. Okay. ETH breaking out nearly. We can go and have a look at the altcoins in a moment. So the simple way that I would like to measure the structure, because this to me doesn't really make sense anymore. Okay, if I'm speculating on an A, B, C to the downside, using this Fib retracement doesn't really make sense anymore because of the flat here, in the middle. So I'm rather going to say, well, what if this is a ABC? Now can I work out some C wave targets here to the upside? So to do that, take the fib out the way. Okay, I will take a trend-based fib and we will go plot some levels of interest to the upside, because since price is now in price discovery, we need to go and figure out, if price continues to pump to the upside, what are the areas of resistance that we could potentially face to the upside. So you take a fib from the low. Now this is the question, ABC, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to take that pivot over there to the low. Right, now this is where things gets interesting, and this is where Bitcoin is currently consolidating. Okay, thanks for all the amazing education. Watch and listen, it's absolute pleasure. All I ask is that you guys smash up the like button. 183 people watching, 75 likes. I know that we can be a little bit more bullish on the like button. Okay, so legends, this is the area of resistance that I'm actually expecting. So at the moment we are tapping here the 1-to-1 extension. So and I'm purposefully now looking at a bearish case scenario where this is not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and we're going to make a higher low and continue. This is not a 1, 2, 1, 2 and we're going to continue to the all-time highs. What if this is a ABC and we're going to come crashing down and claim the low here at $90,000 and even go lower to $85,000? I just quickly want to paint out the scenario, what could potentially play out over here. So now that we have the fib pool here to the upside, we are currently struggling here by the 1-to-1 extension, a little bit further up the 1.236, which is a very, very, very common C wave target. When you have an ABC or an ABC to the downside, it doesn't matter, ABC, okay, ABC or ABC to the downside, like here, ABC, okay, we can go and measure where the C wave can go. The 1.236 is a very, very common C wave target. So I will be paying attention when we hit $108,000, 659. I will be paying attention. The 1.236, not so common, but the 1.618, okay, which is considered an extended C wave, very interesting. Triple one also has a nice, like a nice little psychological ring to it. So not that one, right? It's either the 1-to-1 where we are right now, it's the 1.236, or it's 111. Okay, these are the areas or the levels that I will be interested in. If this is an ABC here to the upside, it starts getting weakness, it breaks out of the trend, it gets acceptance back below, this could be, okay, a rejection zone that's going to send Bitcoin to the downside very aggressively. Because if this, you have to remember, if this is A, B, C to the downside, C waves are very fast. They are very scary. They scare the crap out of everyone. It looks like Bitcoin is going somewhere back to $10,000. That's how they scare everyone. Okay. And we actually do have an example of a very aggressive C wave here to the downside. Do you guys remember this one? This was a C wave. Okay. When you take a fib extension from the high to the low to the high, we tap the 1.618 to perfection. Okay, so we measured this C wave to perfection, got the bounce exactly at the 1.618. Right, so now this is the worst case bearish, or the worst bearish case scenario, where you will then take, okay, so let's say we hit, let's just for argument's sake say we hit 111 here to the upside. Just take this out the way. Then what you will do is you will take your trend-based fib from the high, okay, this high over here at $99,548 to the low, okay, because this is your A wave. This is a WXY, okay, or a WXY. Anyways, to this low, to the high, right? So let's say we reject by 111 there to the upside. This is your fib extension. Okay, that's how you draw it. You click here, and you click here, or where price is going to end. Okay, and then you can see the 1.618 is at $97,000. So this is the extension where you actually wanted to see bounce, but I can tell you guys now, I have seen the 2.618 hit when it gets really nasty to the downside. So let's be prepared. It also has nice confluence with this pivot over here. Right, so that is how I will then measure the potential C wave here to the downside. 1.618, very shallow, or well, very extended, which is actually inside of the support zone. Okay, but I have seen C waves tap the 2.618. It's not common, but it does happen. There is a probability for the C wave to get really aggressive to the downside, sweep up all of the liquidity, market makers fill up their bags, and we explode back to the upside. So legends, for now, this is the most bearish case scenario that I see at the moment. Okay, I think price needs to something really bad needs to happen for price to lose this low over here and just crash to the downside. Okay, but for now, the bullish case scenarios does have probabilities to continue here to the upside. Momentum or volume is still increasing, and you know what I'm basically speculating at is, without bringing Elliott wave theory into this, trying to keep it simple here for you guys, we are uptrending. The trend is up. It's still in your best interest to look for longs. Okay, wherever this high is and we start slowing down and we come back for a three-wave, you want to see a three-wave corrective structure. Okay, three-wave corrective structure, three-wave corrective structure. They are all over the place. Three-wave corrective structure, three-wave corrective structure, three-wave corrective structure. You guys get the point. Okay, when you pump to the upside, you always get a three-wave corrective structure to the downside. Right. And regardless of whether you know it's a three-wave structure or not a three-wave structure, what you're basically looking at is for price to slow down at some point and come back down. Okay, then we have some nice support that we can look at, and then I will take my fib from the low to the high, and I will look for areas of confluence. I will look for daily levels, I will look for weekly levels, point of controls, and Fibonacci levels, where we can build the areas of confluence where we can get that nice little bounce to the upside. Speculating that you have a pump, you have a correction, it makes a higher low, and you continue, right? That's basically the plan. That's the plan, right? Bull market is still intact. The trend is still up. It's still in our best interest to look for longs. So any retracement is still potentially a great buying opportunity. So based on probabilities and the trend being your friend until the very end, it is still, okay, a good place to buy any retracements to the downside. Right, legends, that is basically what I see here on the price of Bitcoin. I'm not going to go through all the Elliott wave scenarios in today's live stream. I will maybe leave that for a little bit later during the week, where we will tackle the weekly time frame again. We'll go through the daily time frame. We'll go through the 8-hour, the 4-hour, the 15-minute, and then, you know, we can assess the probabilities like I did on Friday. I like to use the end of the week when we close out the week just to recap on the probabilities of where we could go to from a larger time frame perspective. But for now, okay, from a simplicity perspective, the trend is up. Still in our best interest to look for longs, but I mean, please do not FOMO into pumps. Okay, it doesn't mean that Dewald says the trend is up and the trend is your friend until the very end, that you go and buy the tippy tops over here, right? You need to wait for the retracements. The dips are really good for buying. Okay, the dips are really good for buying. The dips, okay, not the pumps. Okay, we are currently in a pump. We are there in price discovery at the moment. Please don't buy the tops. Okay, I mean, if you're an investor and you want to be like a whale, the whales are still buying at the moment, by all means, but just accept the fact that you could be underwater, right, for some time before the rising tide raises you out of the situation again. Cool. So legends, let me go through some comments and then we can dive through a couple of altcoins. Remember, before I get to that, down in the description of this video, yes, we can dive through a couple of alts. Down in the description, select more. Okay, when you select the Bluffin link, first link under the exchanges, let's just wait for that to load up. The more you trade, the more money gets airdropped into your account. Okay, simple as that, right? Bluffin. All you need is an email and a password. I really like, and I mean, today's trade I took on Bluffin. right? And then also down in the description, Weeks, one of my favorite exchanges at the moment, where you get up to 20k sign up bonus. You get the lowest, one of the exchanges with the lowest trading fees by only using this link. You do not get these trading fees if you do not use the link. You're going to pay more. Okay. And then, okay, I want to see if one person in the community, if not a couple of people in the community, are going to get that wheel. Where did my wheel go to? Where's my wheel? Come on. Right. There's the wheel. The more you trade, the more chances you get to spin this wheel. All the T's and C's are down in the description. You can go read through all the rules and stuff, but basically the more you trade, the more chances you get to spin this amazing wheel. Up to 1 Bitcoin. Absolutely amazing. So you can see that it's guaranteed prizes. So Weeks at the moment, I have made a tutorial. It will be launched soon. It's just being edited at the moment of how exactly to use the Weeks tutorial. I have a lot of new people joining the live streams, and you know, there's some new people coming into the market, and some of these people have been getting messages like, Dewald, how do you deposit money in Weeks? How do you do features trading? What is leverage? You know, for some of you that's been in the game for long, it's like second nature. You know, it's like breathing air. It's that simple, but some people don't know. So I've made a brand new fresh tutorial on Weeks explaining the proof of reserves, the user protection fund that they have in place, where are they ranked, what is the trust level that, you know, the exchange represents. And I mean, I wouldn't have been promoting Weeks for you guys over here if I didn't trust this exchange and do trading on it by myself. Yes, so I mean, in the countries of the not so free, the first 2 links down in the description is where you only need an email and a password to trade. Right, I also have Bybit and 𝗞𝗍cie for those of you that don't mind verification and you are trading from a land of free where you can use some leverage. Okay, I do have the links down here. I think on Bybit you get that $500 airdrop, okay, by signing up with the link down in the description, and 𝗞𝗍cie up to 20k sign up bonus. And what else? Still one of the exchanges with the lowest fees. Okay, right, legends. Now that was the technical analysis here on the price of Bitcoin. Okay, let's dive through the comments and we can go and have a look at some of your favorite altcoins. How's that? Mariela, welcome to the live stream. It must be very early in the morning there by you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Okay. Abraham, hi Dewald. Can you please look at API 3. Okay, I first want to discuss a couple of my own altcoins that I'm keeping an eye on here, and then I'm going to run through all of the altcoin requests here on the channel. Okay, technical analysis on Solana, thank you. Super Crypto, do I have to use a VPN? Well, that's up to you, right? Can you please look at, okay, I've gone through that, I'll check it out. Nuke it, Dewald, hello sir. Gina, welcome to the live stream. Why there isn't any correction? Sometimes there was not any price correction in BTC at 70k up to 90k. Yes, I mean, it doesn't have to correct deep to the downside, because sometimes people only want to buy the dips and then the dips doesn't come. Okay, Dewald, do you expect the CME gap of this week to get filled? By the way, your streams are pure gold. Thank you. Yeah, I do not expect any CME gap to get filled. Okay. Remember what I said, you know, this is how I see CME gaps, and call me crazy. I'm not a CME gap trader, and it's never really benefited my trading in any way. When price is trending, do you guys know what a trending market is? A trending market means price is going up aggressively or going down aggressively. That is a trending market. When you have aggressive price action to the upside or aggressive price action to the downside. Then you get a ranging market where price is going sideways. Okay, a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, but it's inside of a range. It's not going higher and it's not really going lower. It's going sideways. So in a ranging market, that's usually where CME gaps get filled. Why? You may ask. Okay, well, it's very simple. Okay, when a market is ranging sideways, and it forms little CME gaps everywhere, okay, it will get filled because price is going sideways. More often than not, CME gaps inside of ranges get filled. When a market is trending, on the other hand, that is where you see CME gaps doesn't get filled. There's a CME gap over there, there's a CME gap over there, there's a CME gap over there. So maybe this was 1 week, this was another week, this was another week. Maybe you have a retracement, it fills this CME gap, it fills this CME gap, it forms a higher low, and the momentum continues to the upside. This CME gap never gets filled. Okay, we have many CME gaps that will most likely never get filled. We still have a CME gap at $9,000, right? That didn't get filled. So I am of the view that a CME gap in a trending market does not have to get filled. Okay, because I think a lot of people are looking at that CME gap saying that CME gap needs to get filled, right? For me, it's about technical analysis. Like I said, if price pumps here to the upside, it makes a larger three-wave structure to the downside, it then fills the CME gap, then by all means, the CME gap got filled. But it's not because of the CME gap that we made a correction. Okay, right. Cool, legends. Let me share one nugget over here. Which one will I share over here? I am still looking at, drum roll, TIA. Still looking at TIA, and you guys can see that my chart here looks like an absolute dirty kitchen, but I've been analyzing the crap out of this coin just to make sure, am I buying at the right levels? Can I still expect some momentum here to the downside? Okay, so legends, let me take you through my thinking over here. Let me clean up the kitchen, okay, and take you through my thinking. We've had some nice, let's go into the 4-hour time frame. Okay, we have been inside of the accumulation zone for some time, right? Since June up until November, right? Very long time inside of the accumulation zone. The reason I like TIA so much is because it broke out of the resistance. You can see resistance, resistance, resistance. It broke out with high green volume. That is the two things that I look out for. When you break resistance, you want to break out with high volume, because if you break out with low volume, it's usually a fake out. There was no volume here, nothing. And that's why we kept on faking out. So now that you have broken out, okay, with high volume over here, you have now flipped resistance into support, and it's holding. We had a nice little dump here to the downside in a three-wave structure, by the way. And now what you want to see is for price to find its feet and continue momentum to the upside, to go and claim the highs and even go here to $12. That's the next area that I'm looking at on TIA. So for me, a little bit of a nugget over here. Please, as always, no financial advice. I'm purely doing this for educational purposes. Okay. This for me on TIA here is still a great load up zone. Maybe a small little swing position, 3x, 2x leverage, or a spot buy. Definitely a spot buy. It's still in spot buy zone for me. Even if we claim this low again, I will still be incredibly bullish on TIA, because the momentum to the downside had lower volume than the momentum to the upside, which tells me that the impulse is to the upside and the correction is to the downside. Okay, listen to the words that I'm using. The correction is to the downside, okay, but the impulse is to the upside. So after the correction, you expect continuation to the upside. Right, so now what I do is I zoom into the smaller time frames and say, well, okay, if I want to open up a swing trade, where is now the best entry? Okay, so now I go onto the 1 hour time frame and I look at this little structure over here. So I take a fib from the low to the high, and I say, wow, this little dip here to the downside tapped the 786 to perfection. But now what I'm also interested in is I want to see, well, this does not look like a three-wave structure here to the downside. This looks like a 5-wave structure to the downside. So this to me looks like a C wave. Okay, so this must be the A wave. This must be the B flat, okay, where you take the high, B flat, you know, the flat corrective structures that I always talk about, right? You take the high, you claim the liquidity, and this is then your three-wave corrective structure to the downside. Where did this end? Did it tap a corrective structure target? Okay, now I take my trend-based FIB from the high to the low to the high. Yes, look at where we're finding support at the 1.618 together with the 0.618. Yes, we did tap the 2 over here. It's perfectly fine. I have seen corrective structures tap the 2 over here, but now you really want this to be the low. Okay, you don't really want it to go down lower because you already overextended the corrective structure here to the downside. A, B, C, and it's finding support here by the 1.618. So this looks to me like a good zone to open up a swing trade to the upside, which I have done on Bluffin, right? I literally before the live stream, okay, I can tell you guys now, before the live stream, I bought this little dip. Right, small position, I think it's a 3x position, and if we do come down low, if we come down again, okay, I will just add a little bit more, okay, just a little bit more, because now I'm looking at this structure over here. So now I go on to the 15-minute time frame. Now I assess this little structure over here. You guys can see I first do my analysis on the larger time frame. Where are we? I look at the oil painting. I want to see the whole picture. Then I start zooming in. Then I start zooming in. So now when I look at this structure, now I'm trying to figure out, can I count impulses to the upside, which tells me that we can most likely form a higher low. Yes, I can count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure. So it does look like a 5 wave structure here to the upside. And this does look corrective to the downside. It's chopping to the downside. It's not really getting impulses back to the downside. Also, these impulses to the upside was made with higher volume than the correction to the downside. So it looks good. Now what I do, and I'm educating while I'm sharing this with you peeps over here, okay? So let me just take that out the way, clean up this FIB, just clean up the kitchen over here. For some reason that FIB doesn't want to delete. Here we go. Okay, so now I take a FIB from the low to the high, and I say, ooh, okay, wow, we got the bounce at the 0.618. That's usually a great bouncing area. So inside of this green box that I have over here, we still have another bullish target. So if price for some reason still comes to take the low over here, and it comes down to the 786, which is $6.1, I will still be bullish, because looking at this structure, the 786 is still a very bullish target at $6. So I am now prepared as a trader that if I'm building a swing position to the upside, okay, I'm not just expecting price to do this. I have a plan. If price does this, I already have a position. If price does this, I have another buying zone. If price comes to the low, it will hit my invalidation. Okay, so invalidation, buying zone, and I already have a position in this zone. Right, so this is how I structure my trades. Watch and listen. I'll give him a nudge for you, so hopefully he will cover it. Mr. Crypto Big Brains, let me know what nudge you need here for the legends in the house. I have to get a couple of hours of sleep before picking my daughter up from school. If you could do HBAR later, I will rewatch this stream later. Right, let's go and do HBAR for the legends before I know you have to go to bed. Okay, let's go and do HBAR here quickly for the legend. Right, let's go into HBAR USDT. Right, so maybe you'll have a moment to watch it here. It's not going to take long. So also just want to go on to the 4 hours, see where we are. Yes, I mean, we just have to acknowledge that it had a nice, beautiful pump here to the upside. But now I'm interested in the corrective structure. Okay, this is now what I'm interested in. So I just quickly want to see what can to be cooking over here. I do like the 3-wave structure here to the downside, which means that the correction could be done, but this needs to be your invalidation. If you're attempting any long back to the upside, this is your invalidation, because I can count a potential ABC here to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or a contracting diagonal, whatever, but I can count a nice little ABC. I just want to go and measure it quick here. From a corrective structure perspective, we take your fib extension, trend-based fib from the high to the low to the high. Okay, you tap the 1.236. Okay, now you guys can see as I'm analyzing some of the altcoins for you guys, how these fib retracements play such a key role. The 1-to-1 extension, the 1.236 and the 1.618, very important targets from a retracement perspective. And HBAR tapped the 1.236 to perfection. Now what I want to see is, okay, if this is the low and this was the completion of a three-wave structure to the downside, I now want to count an impulse in this structure. Can we continue to the upside without claiming the low? So I need to from an Elliott wave perspective, be able to count a 5-wave structure to the upside, a 3-wave structure to the downside, and then we can potentially continue impulses to go and take the high once again at 39 cents. Okay, so for that, I need to zoom into the smaller time frame. So let's go on to the 1 hour time frame and just check out, well, do we have probabilities for this to be a euro? Okay, just want to see this. See this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it does look like we have a contracting diagonal over here. Okay, so there's 3 things that I always look for, purely from just quickly from an education perspective. I look for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I look for an impulse and a 3-wave corrective structure, which then tells me this is 1, 2, 3 to the upside. So I look for this. Okay, if I don't see that, I look for this contracting diagonal where the waves are allowed to overlap each other. Okay, if I don't see that, then I look for this double 1, 2, 5-wave, 3-wave, 5-wave, 3-wave, 5, 3, 5, 3, and then you could get explosion to the upside. So when I analyze the charts, I'm looking for these structures to tell me whether impulses or momentum can continue to the upside. So basically, looking here at the price of HBAR, okay, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is potentially your 3-wave structure here to the downside, and then what I do is I take a fib from the low to the high, and I want to see where we bounced. Okay, just want to take that out the way so it's not confusing. Okay, so we did find support inside between the 618 and the 50% fib level. So in this zone, let me give you a zone rather, because you know sometimes it gets a little bit tricky, but I'm going to tell you guys, I know it's a big zone, but in this zone, for me, it's a load up zone with you have a clear invalidation. Your invalidation is the low. This is a load up zone where it's still bullish targets, where you could form your high, which is 1. You have your corrective structure in 2, and this could be forming your first impulse back to the upside to go and claim the highs. I hope that helped. Watch and listen. I hope you watched and listened. Right. Okay, so that is what I see on the price of HBAR. It does look like the corrective structure could potentially be finished over here. But we still trade with stop losses and we still trade with good risk management, because what if, okay, it comes to take the low again and then it does that, right? We just have to be prepared. But I can tell you guys now, if it dips below and it gets acceptance back above, that's also a really good entry. But then this was not an impulse. This is still part of the corrective structure. But it looks like you have a nice 3-wave structure over here. Tap the 1.236. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a contracting Elliott wave scenario. You have a 3-wave corrective structure here to the downside. Okay, the low could be in. The low, I just want to say the low could potentially be in. But then from a simplicity perspective, let's look for a trend. Because sometimes if you're not sure, okay, go use the D-line strategy. Okay, so right, this is the break of trend that I will be watching. And it's nibbling at the trend at the moment. So I would say, looking at the trend over here, if we get some high time frame candle closes above the trend over here, that could look really great, where this is your low and you could continue momentum from where you are. Okay, but I want to see some high time frame candle closes close outside of that trend. If you're opening up a swing trade or a spot position, you don't have to try and be sniper and, you know, it has to be this level or that level, okay? So, I mean, but this is still a zone. Even if price comes back down and it finds support inside of this zone, okay, not claiming the low, it could be a beautiful bullish bounce back to the upside. So that is what I see on HBAR. Okay, simple technical analysis, right? And I mean, from a day trading perspective, I just want to claim the highs. I just want to claim the highs. Okay, I'm not going to say HBAR is going to $5. I'm just saying this is a swing trade. You build a position, you know where your invalidation is, and you know where to take profits. You get in, you get out, you bank your profits. Beautiful. Okay, what else for the legends? Dewald, please don't forget to check KDA later. Okay, cool. Let me go and check out KDA. I know you posted a comment very early on in the live stream. And oh, for those of you that want to know, KDA can be traded on Weeks and Bluffin, link down in the description. Okay, where you qualify for those amazing bonuses and deals and spin the wheel to win up to 1 Bitcoin for weeks. Right, KDA. Mr. KDA. Right, I mean, KDA has done amazing things here to the upside already. I see I have done some analysis. Let's just check it out here quickly. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's busy actually now with a fourth wave here to the downside. So this looks like it's busy with 4. It still needs to make another high. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, it still has a great possibility to go and claim the highs. Ever so slightly front run the highs over here. So you have a 1, 2, 3. It's now busy with a 4th wave. Okay. And you could still expect another 5th wave here to the upside. Remember, after your 5th wave is in, you can expect a larger correction to the downside, which corrects this wave. Okay. So don't think that it's guaranteed when you buy over here that it's just going to do this and not turn around. Okay, it can always form that 5-wave structure. We just don't know how high the 5th wave is going to go. We do have some targets, but I have seen on altcoins they can get a little bit punchy, the 5th waves, like you see over here. Look how punchy this 5th wave got here, but I mean, it still respected the rules. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could then form a little nasty correction to the downside. Okay, you still form a higher low, and then it explodes again in another 3rd wave. Okay. Right, so I would not be surprised if I look at KDA over here. KDA took the low. Okay, thanks for sharing the love. KDA took the low, so I cannot use this structure to say that this is a 3rd wave to the upside. Okay, it has to build this again. And I think with KDA, we're going to have to be a little bit more patient. So I still see upwards momentum for KDA, but I think you're still going to have to see this. And next time around, it needs to form a higher low and not take this low. So if we build up a 5th wave to the upside and it comes down for correction, it should not take this low. Then it's going to be extremely bullish, because then you can use this wave to measure where the 3rd wave can go, and that can get explosive to the upside. But I still see that KDA still needs to build a 1 and a 2. It does not have a 1 and 2. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves in 1. Then you need an ABC and a 3-wave structure to form 2. Then you're going to get that 3rd wave to the upside, like XRP has done. The reason XRP went so parabolic compared to some of the altcoins is because it's already built a structure and it formed a higher low, and it's now busy with its 3rd wave. You want to be inside the 3rd wave before it happens. So on KDA, I still think that we are going to get a larger correction to the downside and then rampage back to the upside. So don't expect to buy over here and never look back. It might come back to your entry price if you do not take profits after you claim the highs. Okay, so now I want to zoom into the smaller time frames. I think Andy has spoken about this token in quite some detail as well. But what I'm expecting here on ADA is to at least claim these highs. Definitely. I can count the 1, 2, 3. This is potentially the 4. So let's zoom into the smaller time frames. Is the corrective structure finished? Oh, it does look very aggressive and sharp here to the downside. But now, this is now the interesting part. You want to take a fib from the low to the high. And this is where it gets interesting. Okay. The fourth wave is not allowed to tap the 0.618. Not allowed to. Okay. Right. So what you want to see is we tap the 0.5 here to perfection. So you want this level to hold, which means that this needs to be your low, which means that that is where your stop loss goes. Right. So the fourth wave, just remember that the fourth wave can still continue. It doesn't necessarily have to take the low, because the corrective structure can also go sideways without taking the low. So it can still go sideways. Maybe it builds a nice little flag, bull flag, and then you get the breakout to go and claim the high, and maybe, and also the high of March. Right. But once you've claimed that high, I will definitely be looking at taking profits from a day trading perspective. Definitely, I will be looking at taking profits in this zone, because you could still come back down for that 3-wave corrective structure, and like I've explained on the larger time frames. I also just want to see, well, is there a possibility for a double 1-2 to the upside? Because then it could get really punchy. And what I don't like is that if this is a 1-2 and this is forming a 1-2, and you're going to get an explosive third wave here to the upside, this 1-2 is way bigger than this 1-2. It's not an invalidation, but it does lower the probability, okay, that the second 1-2 needs to be either the same size or smaller than the second 1-2. Okay, so you have a small 1-2 and then you have this large 1-2. So I would not consider a double 1-2 in this scenario for an explosion to the upside. I would rather look at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a nice little correction. You find support and then you continue. So that is basically what I see here on the price of KDA. Okay, right. Patient, Dewald Wagner, Leia is testing our patient. Yes, Mariella, I know. Leia, my word, I do have a spot bag of Leia, and I'm not planning to sell it. I've actually added some Leia to my spot bags. Okay. And this was actually another token I wanted to highlight. What I really like, so just clean up the kitchen over here. Let's go on to the daily time frame. Okay. When you look at KDA, when you look at ADA, when you look at XRP, when you look at all the coins that's done these amazing things to the upside, Layer AI does have an amazing bullish structure, because Layer AI had a great impulse to the upside and it has formed a higher low. It did not claim the low, where this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe if you zoom into the smaller time frames, you can count a 4, 5 inside of the zone over here. But the important part that I'm looking at over here is that you formed a higher low, so you can use this structure to determine where the next wave can go, right? And it could potentially go a lot higher than 9 cents. Woohoo! That's a lot. Right, happy new all-time high, beaches. Are we back at all-time high again? Or did I just say that out loud? Beaches, Fingummy. Right, okay, now let's see how we react there by the trend. It could potentially be a little bit of a rejection zone. I must say, this does look kind of, on the price of Bitcoin, this does look like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because this momentum here to the upside has lower volume than this momentum to the upside. And for those of you that do know Elliott wave theory, okay, your third wave always has the most amount of volume, and your fifth wave finishes on lower volume. Okay, so it does smell and look like a little bit of a correction could be coming soon. Okay, could be coming soon. Let's see how we react there by the trend on Mr. Bitcoin over here. Okay, Right, legends, what else? I see people are just falling off the live stream. I'm not sure if I'm not going through the altcoins fast enough, or people are jumping onto someone else's live stream. I'm not sure what's happening over here, but I see people are falling off the live stream for some reason. Not sure why. Right, I just quickly want to dive into 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝗽. Okay, so I am still bullish on 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝗽, legends, and I don't think I will go through Ethereum in a moment. Rolling Walnut, I will go and look at Ethereum and Solana. You are doing great. Thanks, Sandra. Appreciate it. I'm not sure. I think maybe someone else has gone live and people just dropped off to go and watch someone else. But I'm just going to continue here with the technical analysis and carry on. Right, so 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝗽 still looks great. It's still inside of the accumulation zone. Okay. When you look at what is a good example to use over here, let's use, I wanted to talk about Flux as well. It looks absolutely amazing, but I'm sure Andy has spoken about Flux. Let's use ADA as a great example to use. Algo, also a great example to use. Okay, so when you look at ADA, when you look at coins like Algorand, okay, this is what I mean, legends. So I can take this now out the way. I don't need that anymore. But you have, I need to do this comparison. Okay, you have a beautiful accumulation zone over here. Okay, let me make it turquoise, whatever that color is, right? I don't even know what you call that color. Let's call it the train station. But Algorand has formed a beautiful bullish structure to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a beautiful three-way structure to the downside. It did not take the low. So this is what I look at. Okay, did not take the low. And now when you measure this wave to the low, to the high, you can go and work out targets. I do think that even Algorand over here still has potential to go and claim the 1.618. Definitely a possibility. The third wave is still here in motion. But what I want to point out over here, guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is the area where you buy. This is where you buy. You don't buy here and buy here and buy here, especially not from a spot bag or swing perspective. You can day trade these little consolidation areas on the smaller time frames, but this is the zone where you want to buy to potentially make that 1 to 2 or 3x to the upside. And this is what I still see on 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝗽. Look at where it is. Okay, look at what Algorand has done. Okay, 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝗽 is here. Okay, do you guys see? So for me, this is still a great zone to buy. It might get boring, okay? It doesn't go up, whatever the case might be. It still ranges, it's ranges. But I'm going to tell you guys, you're going to wake up one morning, you're going to wake up one day, and it's going to do this. And if you did not buy 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝗽, no financial advice, please do your own research. But you are going to be one of the people that send me comments and say, can I buy it now? How about now? Can we look at the smaller time frames? No, this is where you buy, okay? Because your risk is absolutely fantastic inside of this zone. Your risk is not so fantastic if you're trying to buy over here, because what if you get a deeper correction and you are severely underwater or you liquidate your position? Dewald, hoekom ignoreer jy Afrikaanse kommentaar? Bill. Right, I prefer to stick to English. And sorry, maybe I just didn't see your comment. Frontier Pioneer. Sorry, man. Maybe I just didn't see your comment. Right, but I just want to highlight Mr. 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝗽 over here. If you are still looking for a token that is in this zone and you are speculating and you would like to make profits like this, okay, these are the type of tokens that you need to have a look at, where you have a nice impulse, a higher low, consolidation, and it could break out at any moment. You just need to be patient. Right, unfortunately, nothing is for certain in the market. Okay, but I mean, for me, this is a better buy than buying Algorand. I am not buying over here because I'm exposing myself to so much risk. I will day trade this on the smaller time frames. But later, I will still build a swing position and add to my spot bags. So I did add some more layer to my spot bags. So now what I'm interested in over here is, let's just quickly go on to the 4-hour time frame. Mariela, I know that you've got some 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝗽 as well. So I now want to see, okay, hello, Mr. AI has disappeared. 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝗽, Oh, it's not working anymore. Okay, sorry legends. Let me maybe close Algorand over here. Save and close. Okay, maybe I just need to close a couple of tabs. Let's see. Ah, it's not loading up. Right, here we go. Okay, thank goodness. Right, 8 hours, perfectly fine. Now I want to look at this structure. Cool. So first thing I check out is for the corrective structure to the downside. You take your fib from the high to the low to the high. Okay, we are finding support here by the 1.236, which is fine, but we can still come down to the 1.618. So, I mean, we did find a little bit of support by the 121. Okay, now we're finding support by the 1.236. It is a corrective structure target. If this is a three-wave structure here to the downside, and we're going to start getting upwards momentum, this is, you know, where you want to. This is why I added a little bit. Okay, layer AI and layer AI can be traded on Bluffin and on Weeks down in the description. I think you can do leverage trading and spot buying on both of those exchanges here on layer AI. So I added a little bit here this morning into my spot bags, knowing that we can still come to the 1.618. I will add a little bit more, but we are breaking out of a little trend that I'm tracking here to the downside. So let's just hope it loads up. If I go onto the 1 hour, let's hold thumbs. Yeah, here we go. Okay, this is what I was looking at, right? It is breaking out. When you connect this pivot with this pivot, you have a beautiful trend, and it's chopping, and it looks like it wants to continue to this trend over here. Okay, so you could potentially catch the breakout before the bigger breakout over here, where you can then protect your position and just enjoy the momentum and not worry about looking for an entry over here. Okay, so legends, that is the technical analysis on layer AI, right? And I do think that the AI ecosystem is still sleeping, and it's going to wake up with a bang, and you want to be in AI. We don't care what's going on out there. We are not leaving this live stream and we are all smashing the like. Thank you so much, Mariella. Happy new all-time high. Are we still going up, right? Price is just continuing. I mean, legends, we have to realize that we are in bullish momentum. We are inside a bull market at the moment. I actually made a short this morning telling people about the 4-year cycles, comparing the last 3 bull cycles with each other. I often speak about it during this live stream. I mean, when you have massive momentum and bull market momentum to the upside, the market can stay irrational for longer than you can stay solvent. So if you're a type of person that are trying to catch the tops as price is pumping over here, and you are trying to just short the whole time, it might just go to $120,000, liquidate your account. Why not, you know, wait for the retracements and look for longs? It's always in your best interest. Okay, Solana. Someone asked for Solana and ETH. Okay, let's first have a look at ETH. I mean, ETH is breaking out. What can I say? Okay, it had a beautiful corrective structure here to the downside. I mean, on the larger time frame, I'll show you guys now. I really wanted ETH to come down a little bit lower. It would have been so nice, but I mean, I spoke about this pivot, okay, during many of my live streams, guys. Okay, 3-wave structure. It looks like a 3-wave structure here to the downside. You get acceptance back above the low. This is where you want to enter. Okay, and then I spoke about this pivot, and I spoke about this pivot. Same thing. If you dip below a obvious pivot like that, especially on the 1 hour, the larger time frames, and you get acceptance back above, that is where you enter. That is where you put your stop loss. There was also, I think, a bump and run. Okay, not sure if I still have those, but there was a trend very high. No one wants to play a bump and run, especially if your stop loss is that far, right? You target the highs and we're almost there. Okay, very choppy above the trend, very choppy, but I mean, you could have had a steeper trend here as well. Okay, there was a steeper one that you could have played the breakout over here, speculating that it's going to break out here and claim the high. But where it is now is not trading, right? If you want to jump into a long over there, knock your socks out. I hope you have a trading strategy with good risk management, but you missed the long. This was the long on ETH. Okay, that was the long on ETH. this was the long on ETH. But I mean, that's an insane stop loss, right? So you could have just put your stop loss here below the trend. But where price is at the moment, I'm not interested. It's just pumping here to the upside. But looking at ETH on the larger time frame, because I often get the question, Dewald, if you had $100,000, would you go all in on ETH right now? You know, and the question is, when I take a fib from the low to the high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Ooh, this actually does look like a beautiful one wave over here. 1, 2, and this is still part of the third wave here to the upside. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A, B, C in a contracting diagonal, which is then 1, 2, and it's now busy with the third wave here to the upside. Okay, but when I look at this structure, I would have liked, really I would have liked to see a $3,000 ETH. Okay, so if ETH, maybe it will still reject. Maybe if it rejects here from the highs and it comes down again, claims the low, this is the juiciest zone that I see for ETH, $3,000, 100. This consolidation area will definitely provide some significant support. So if ETH does decide not to just continue here to the upside, and it does come down in a three-wave structure over here, okay, this is the zone that I will be looking at to scoop up some more Ethereum. We might not get it, but at least we know that there's a zone over here. Okay, $3,000, great support area over here. Maybe you SFP these lows, okay, you dip below, you get acceptance back above, like what happened over there. This will be a great scoop up zone where you then have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe then an ABC, or this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, and it just continues to the upside. But as the price is pumping, there's nothing that I do. As the price is pumping, there's nothing that I can do. So that's basically what I see here on ETH. Okay, there was a couple of breakouts you could have played, right? There's a beautiful breakout over there. Beautiful breakout. And then that was the latest breakout. Okay, so nothing to do on ETH here at the moment. Thanks, sir, for TA, the rolling walnut, an absolute pleasure. Diego, Dewald, thoughts about Pyth? I will go have a look at Pyth, but first, Dewald, dink jy ons kry 'n pullback op 108. Frontier Pioneer, a pullback up 108. Yes, well, it depends on whether we close below the trend. Okay, so I've already done the technical analysis on Bitcoin in the beginning of the live stream. So just quickly over here, if price pumps outside, not interested in a short. Okay, not interested, because it could just continue. If price pumps and it gets acceptance back inside of the range, the trend, okay, this little this diagonal that I've got, if it pumps here and it gets acceptance back inside, especially if it gets acceptance back below this low, okay, this could be a larger correction to the downside. Okay, but until I see weakness, I'm not interested in a short. And who knows where price is going to go. I did discuss some levels to the upside with some FIP pools that we need to keep an eye on, of which the most interesting one is 111. That is a very interesting level. And I think there was also the 1.236 somewhere in this zone. I can't remember where that level was. But just rewind to the beginning of the live stream where I analyzed the price of Bitcoin with some proper FIP levels to look at to the upside. Okay, someone asked for Mr. Solana. Let's go look at Sol. Ooh, okay. Don't know why that is there. Let's take it out. It does have a beautiful trend. I actually have my alarm set over here. Want to catch the breakout. 1, 2, 3. Just want to measure this corrective structure. 1, 2, 3. I would actually like Solana to come down a little bit lower, to be quite frank. Okay, that corrective structure for me is not deep enough. But you guys can see how crazy I've been going here with Solana. Breakout after breakout after breakout after. It's just breaking out. Every single trend, it's just breaking out here to the upside. But I mean, now looking at this structure, Let's take it here from this low to the high. We didn't even tap the 50%. I mean, okay, so there's the front running scenario that I will be watching over here. But I mean, this zone looks really interesting. I like the 618 at $190 together with a 1.236, and I like this zone over here. Okay, so now I can just take the corrective structure out, clean up the kitchen a little bit. So 3 scenarios. You wait for the break of the trend because the low could be in. It could just break out and run away. And this is why I sometimes have the trend, is to track the momentum or the runaways if momentum just continues to the upside, right? And it front runs my levels. But if it comes down a little bit further, $190, $173, right? These are good bouncing areas, and it's also a better corrective structure targets here to the downside. So this zone between $170 and $190 is still a great load up zone on Solana if it gets here. Okay, otherwise you just keep an eye on the trend because that low could be in. It's a very shallow retracement. I don't particularly like it, but it's usually a sign of massive bullishness, right, where it front runs areas and it makes a higher low and it continues. But this zone to me looks better. Right, at the moment you sit on your hands and you wait. Okay, so you can go and analyze the small little structure here on the 15-minute time frame. I don't want to spend too much time here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It does look like a 5-wave structure here to the upside. Okay, but it could also be an ABC. Okay, not an easy one here on Solana. Again, it's front running all the levels. Okay, Solana is not pretty from a fib retracement perspective. It did tap the 0.618, but it's not really a common target. You want the 786, ideally the 121 and the 1.236. Okay, but then the retracement is going to be too deep. So that 1-to-1 extension looks great. Okay, if the structure is going to turn out to be a bullish structure and it breaks out. But personally, I want to see Solana correct a little bit further down. Right. What else? Thank you, Frontier Pioneer. It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. Smash up the like, legends, for the education over here. And remember, down in the description of this video, if you open up the description, I've got Bluffin. All you need is an email and a password and weeks. With Bluffin, the more you trade, the more money gets airdropped into your account while you're trading. And then with weeks, you get to spin the wheel. Okay, let me just close this one. You get to spin that wheel. The more you trade, the more chances you get to spin the wheel. And this is for existing and new users, where you can win up to 1 Bitcoin. And all you need is an email and a password to sign up here. You also get low trading fees, up to $20,000 sign up bonus by completing some activities. Okay, right, what else? ETH testing previous highs. I mean, yes, ETH is just looking very bullish here, but I mean, you know, Bitcoin is also just showing some love over here, but also something that I wanted to point out over here. Okay, and this is why I want ETH to come down a little bit lower to $3,000. Okay, let me know, 9K CME. This is why I want ETH. If I look at the ETH BTC pair, okay, on the logarithmic scale, we've been in, and I'm here on the weekly time frame, we've been inside of this channel for quite some time, and then we lost it. Can you guys see? We actually broke down and we retested it as resistance. So one of two things is most likely going to happen over here. If I zoom into this structure, okay, we have massive support here between the 618 and the 786. Massive support, as you can see here, even on the weekly time frame. Resistance, you broke through. Support, resistance, support. Okay, so quite a important box of support over here. So when I look at the structure, just to show you guys, where do I get the green box from? Okay, so ETH either breaks back into the channel, which will be a bullish sign. It needs to break back into the channel, find support, and then hopefully it breaks the top of the channel, and then ETH gives us that face melting price action that we've all been waiting for. But it does look better if ETH still finds a little bit more weakness compared to Bitcoin because of where it bounced. It bounced in the middle of nowhere. It didn't even tap the 0.618. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if ETH struggles here and it does this. What I've painted here in green, it finds strength and then it gets acceptance back inside the channel, it breaks out. But I do think that if ETH still has weakness over Bitcoin, this is the zone which is potentially a great load up zone, even from a spot bag perspective. Okay, massive support. You form that higher low and then you continue momentum here to the upside. Okay, so for now it's still looking a bit bearish for Mr. ETH. Okay, and this is basically ETH over Bitcoin, which shows the strength of ETH over the price of Bitcoin. So ETH is still weak here at the moment. It's not showing any signs of strength just as yet. Right, I sat on my hands too, but not for same reason. What else? ETH testing Pyth, Diego, Mr. Diego. Let's go and have a look at Pyth for the legend. Ooh, and wait, before we get to Pyth, for the legends that are still sticking around, for the legends that are still in the live stream over here, you see, I always drop these golden nuggets throughout the live stream. I don't just drop all the nuggets during the first hour and then I disappear and just talk rubbish for the second hour. Okay, here's another nugget. AI tech. Okay, really like where it got the bounce. Okay, AI tech, when I measure this corrective structure, look at where it bounced, 1.618. We all know how powerful that 1.618 level is. 1.618, I keep on repeating this, 1.618. That is a beautiful corrective structure target. Now you want to form a higher low and you want to break this trend. You guys can see that trend. You can see my alarm. I already have a position on AI tech, and I think it can be traded on Bluffin and Weeks, if I'm not mistaken. It can be traded on Bluffin and Weeks, so I'm waiting for the breakout, very patiently waiting for the breakout over here. But my invalidation is very clear, so I have already nibbled at a little bit of a long over here. Okay, I've already nibbled at a little bit of a long. I'm not going to wait for the break of the trend because I could potentially have a better entry because I know where my stop loss needs to go. Okay, and it does look like we could form a nice little bullish structure here to the upside to go and claim the highs once again. But on the larger time frames, it looks even better. Okay, so taking the scribble here out the way, I know this looks messy. I was just measuring some of the corrective structure targets. And and the other thing that I want to highlight over here is that, okay, from a bearish case perspective, let's say we fall down. I'm looking at the 786. I will take the knock. I will take the stop loss. Okay, I'm not going to move my stop loss. I will be stopped out, and if we find support here by the 786, maybe we break the trend over there, I will re-enter. Okay, so I have a plan. My plan is, if we take the low, I will get stopped out, but I will buy over here if we find support. Okay, because I also know that this could potentially still be a 5-wave structure to the downside. So there's a high chance that the low is in. Let me make that clear. There's a high chance that the low is in because we tapped the 1.618. But if we still go down lower, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in a 5-wave structure, of which a C wave, okay, is a 5-wave structure. So if we take the lows again, and especially if you get acceptance back above the lows, I will re-enter. Okay, that's just what I do, right? I have a plan. If I get stopped out and I see the price action that I like to see, I will re-enter in the zone. Then the 5-wave structure is completed, and then off to the races we go. But I've already entered a position knowing that the level could be front run. Okay, So small little swing trade, 2x leverage. I didn't go crazy over here with large position size or leverage for that matter, but I do acknowledge that there is still the possibility for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it gets acceptance back above the lows and then it leaves the station. Okay, so still a potential for this to play out or not. The low is in and then it breaks out, and this is why I nibbled at a small position over here. Right, hope that makes sense. Last but not least, Aptos, spicy secret sauce. Right, cool, legends. So this is one that I am definitely keeping an eye on. Oh, something sounds very weird. Right, legends. Quickly, I just wanted to look at tech here on the larger time frames. AI tech here on the larger time frames. Let's just clean up the kitchen over here. Okay, so I mean, look at this structure. Look at this structure, legends. Now, this is why I am bullish on AI tech. You have a beautiful impulse to the upside. You have made an insane higher low. Okay, you are still inside of the train station, the accumulation zone. No financial advice. Please, I encourage you to do your own research. But for me, this is still a great buy. And this is why I'm looking for longs in the zone, expecting us to have that, you know, momentum here to the upside to go and claim the highs at 49.50 cents. That is still from where price is right now till the recent highs over there, 3.6x. Okay, 3.6x. It's absolutely insane. So it's definitely still worth it for me to build a position inside of this zone. Right, and it can be traded on weeks and bluffing. Links down in the description where you qualify for the biggest sign-up bonuses and a chance to spin the wheel to win 1 Bitcoin. Okay, thanks for the golden nugget, Jeffrey. It's an absolute pleasure. Aptos, please. Let's go and have a look at Aptos. Is it OP, the ticker, if I'm not mistaken? Aptos. I don't think I can just... It's, or is it OP? OP. Isn't it OP? Or is this optimism? Sorry, it would be nice if you guys can give me the tickers, because then I don't have to go and search for them on so APT. I will go look at Pyth in a moment. Diego, I will go look at Pyth in a moment. Okay, OPT, let's go look at OPT. USDT. Right, let's go and have a look. OPT. Oh, APT. Sorry, I'm smoking my socks over here. There we go. That looks better. Much better. Ooh, I've already done... Is this? No, this is... There we go. Okay, daily time frame. Let's see what's cooking over here. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, you've missed the breakout. I think I analyzed this on the log scale, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, breakout. Beautiful breakout on the logarithmic. Found support. Can't really count this as a bullish structure because it took the low. So I mean, it's 1 2 1 2. It just looks like it's forming 1 2 1 2 1 2, and it could just literally explode here to the upside. Right, it's just, you know, where price is at the moment. If I go onto the 4-hour time frame, there was a couple of breakouts. Okay, there's another breakout. Oh, that was an ugly one. Very ugly one. I mean, it's just not in a trading zone for me at the moment. It's just, I like the fact, I mean, if you wanted to enter a long on Aptos, right, this was it. That was the long. You sweep the lows, because when people want to play momentum to the upside, where do they put their stop losses? Below the lows. That's where they put their stop losses. This builds up liquidity. And when you see this, where price dips down below, it stops everyone out and it gets acceptance back above. That's where you want to enter your long. You've already swept the liquidity, and you're most likely going to come and claim that high. Where price is now is not in a trading zone. So you've missed the long. If you want to FOMO into a trade over there, by all means, knock yourselves out, right? But that was the long. It does not have a beautiful trend over here for me to even speculate on a breakout. There's no trend, okay? You want to do a trend like that, you have to put your stop loss here. That's way too far. Or do you want to put your stop loss here? So maybe you can speculate on a trend breakout. It's not pretty. It's just not. Aptos is not in a pretty trading zone for me personally, okay? The only thing I can see over here is that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC, okay, in a flat ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it does look like it's forming 5-wave structures to the upside, 3-wave corrective structures, and it could be building up 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and it could lift off from here because it looks like it's building up 1, 2s over here. Okay, it's not a beautiful 5-wave impulsive structure here to the upside. Most amount of volume was actually in this high. Yeah, it's not a pretty structure for me. Okay, it's not in a trading zone. Do I think it can go higher? Everything is a possibility. Can it correct? Yes, it can also correct here to the downside. It's just not a pretty token, okay, to analyze, right? There was the breakout. There was the breakout. There was your long. Now you do nothing. Okay. Pyth. Someone asked for Pyth. Diego, I remember you asked for Pyth. Let's go look at Pyth. Maybe Pyth looks better. Okay. There's always another altcoin. I can tell you guys now, there's always another altcoin that looks way better if you find an ugly coin like that. And I don't mean ugly from a fundamental perspective. I just mean from a technical perspective, it looks ugly to trade. You don't really know where to get in. Okay, I just want to see what on earth is going on here. So obviously I've done a lot of drawings. Okay, Pyth Network. Why does this sound so familiar? Okay, so momentum is to the upside. So the trend is your friend until the very end. It does look like it's grinding ever so slightly here to the upside. I mean, I just don't know if I can take this low into account. I just want to see, does Pyth not have a better... Does it not have KuCoin? Yes, it does have KuCoin. Let's look at Pyth on KuCoin. Maybe we have some, I know, so it's relatively new, newly listed on the exchanges. So basically the same structure. Okay, so you do have, let me just put it on regular over here. Just want to see, okay. You have the break of trend over there. Then you started forming the upwards momentum to the upside. Okay. Just want to see. I mean, that is such strong support to the downside. Not that it matters now, because I mean, this was such a beautiful support. And FIP from the high to the low. Okay. It does look like it can definitely still find some upwards momentum. I just want to see here on the 1 hour time frame. Is there a tradable scenario over here? This is now what's interesting to me. Okay. Oof, that was the breakout. If you missed that breakout, that was the breakout. Okay. So I mean, you've missed the breakout. If you want to FOMO in here, but it does look like it has the potential to sweep up the highs and come here to the 0.382. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, can't count this as a fifth wave. So maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. That was the corrective structure. And now you're building impulses back to the upside. Okay, there was the break of trend. Not interested in a long over there, right? You play the breakout or you play the retest. When it starts pumping, I'm not interested. So not really in a trading zone yet at the moment. Diego, Not unfortunately for me in a trading zone. What do you think about 𝗖𝗇, lower time frame? I have gone through 𝗖𝗇 in quite some detail, so just go back a little bit in the live stream. I have gone through 𝗖𝗇 in quite a lot of detail, and it's actually breaking out as we speak. It is breaking out on the 1 hour time frame. It is breaking out. Okay. And I have gone through detailed analysis here on 𝗖𝗇. I do think like Diego, like Pyth, and some of the altcoins that some of the people are requesting over here, I think there are altcoins that look way better from a technical perspective. Okay, then I'm not saying that they can't do amazing things to the upside. I'm a technical trader and I look for technicals that make sense. And I can apply a trading strategy based on my technical analysis. Pyth looks a little bit better than the previous one that I've just analyzed. 𝗬𝗚. 𝗬𝗚 looks, it's technically it's a mess. Okay. Yes, we can go and figure out some levels on the weekly time frames and so forth, but there are tokens that look way better. 𝗖𝗇 looks way better. 𝗬𝗚 looks way better. What else did we look at? Okay. 𝗬𝗏. Oh, guys, 𝗬𝗏. Did you guys see 𝗬𝗏? 𝗬𝗏 can only be bought on 𝗬𝗚. Okay. But it looks absolutely insane. I bought a nice little spot bag on 𝗬𝗚. Okay, I also have an affiliate link down in the description where you qualify for the largest sign up bonus by using the link down in the description if you'd like to buy 𝗬𝗏. Right, 𝗬𝗏 is still inside the accumulation zone. And you still have to be a little bit patient with this one. But for me, anything, okay, anything inside of this zone for me is a great accumulation zone. You have formed a higher low. You have a nice impulsive structure to the upside. Beautiful three-wave corrective structure. It's getting ready. I see volume kicking in. It's getting ready. Okay, there's the trend. I think once it breaks that trend, it's going to start accelerating to the upside. So 𝗬𝗏 for me, available on 𝗬𝗚. Still looks absolutely fantastic. Okay, AR, yes, Mr. AR, Mr. AR. Okay, AR has really been testing my patience, but I mean, I do have a large spot bag, and I do have a great entry. It's just been testing my patience a little bit. So, I mean, yeah, I was tracking this trend now and it's actually breaking out. Okay, that's the next trend that I'm tracking. But I mean, legends, first, it lost the trend over here, Mr. AR. So I'm looking at this structure from the low to the high. Okay, looking at this structure over here. So nice little, I don't know even what to call it here, to the upside. Nice uptrend to the upside. And then we have a beautiful corrective structure to the downside. And when I measure that corrective structure, when I take a trend-based fib from the high to the low to the high, okay, we actually went past the 1.618, and this is where things became a little bit scary. Okay, we went past the 1.618 and we almost tapped the 2.618, which is still fine. Okay, it's a very overextended fib wave target, but I mean, nonetheless, when you take a fib from this low to the high, we found support by the 50% fib level. Okay, and I still like this low as well. I really like that low. So if AR is not going to find strength and start breaking back into trend, okay, because I see, like, you know, there's another trend over there that I'm tracking the momentum. If AR claims the lows again, that 618 and that low looks very, very juicy. Okay, looks very, very juicy for potential breakout. But I must say, AR is testing my patience. Like the AI ecosystem, AR is also testing my patience because it looked like it wanted to find momentum here to the upside. Where did it reject? At the trend. You lost the trend, you came back for retest, and now it's going a little bit sideways. I would not be surprised if AR comes down a little bit lower and claims that pivot over there. Okay, find support by the 618. I'm tracking this momentum for potential breakout. If it does not get here and it breaks the trend, then off to the races we go. I already have quite a large spot bag of AR, so I'm not planning to add a little bit more. And there's my entry. Okay, I did add ever so slightly because my entry used to be at $14. Now it's at 15.5. If price comes down below my entry, then I will add more to my spot bags, because I only like to add to spot bags if I'm in the red and I can drag my entry down. But as long as we are trading above my entry, I'm not adding anymore. Okay, right. So, I mean, it needs to break this trend. Okay. I mean, this structure can be counted as bullish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC. And it's maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a contracting diagonal. Doesn't really make sense because some of these lows took that low. So it doesn't really make sense. But taking a fib from this low to the high, okay, you can see where it's finding support is at the 786. I also looked at this earlier today. It's finding support by the 786. And this is your last bullish bounce. If this structure has any chance of being bullish and finding upwards momentum, price needs to hold this level. Very important. It needs to hold $21. Because if you're going to come here to the 0.88 and need $20.60, you increase the probabilities of coming to take the low. Okay, not great, not great. So it's either going to front run and break out here, but I mean, the 618 at $18 does look like it's a possibility here on Mr. AR. 1, 2, I just want to see something here. Okay, if this is an ABC and this is 1, 2, yeah, I mean, the retracement went too high. It looks like this needs to be the low. Okay, if you're still speculating on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fourth wave is incredibly long to your second wave. You already tapped the 618 over here, which decreases the probabilities of creating a 5-wave structure to the downside. So the low could very well be in. Okay, so that is basically the quick and dirty here on Mr. AR. But I am still, from a larger time frame perspective, legends, I just have to stress, I am still very, very, very bullish on AR. Yes, it's going to test your patience. But I mean, it has a beautiful 5-wave structure to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful 5-wave structure. Nice correction, formed a higher low compared to this low. A nice bullish higher low. It's broken out of the bullish pennant. Okay, the bullish pennant, it's broken out. And it's chopping, chopping, chopping. And at some stage, I'm telling you guys now, this is going to happen. And it's just going to leave you behind. This is frustrating as hell, because it looks like it wants to go and it doesn't go. It looks like it wants to go, it doesn't go. It's going to test your patience. It's going to test your patience, but there's one day it's going to do that. And if you did not buy here, okay, then it's, you know, we don't FOMO into trades. But I mean, this is one that can definitely go to $87, if not $104. It definitely has the potential to reach these levels based on this structure. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I mean, the third waves, you all know, can get very punchy. It can go to the 2618. It can go to the 3618. Okay, I do expect some blast off from Mr. AR in the coming weeks. Okay, but for now, I'm just being patient. And if it comes down lower, I will add a little bit more to my spot bags, especially if it goes below my entry price. Right, BTC again. Is it pulling back? Ooh, yes. It's failed to break the trend. Okay, that is a sign of weakness. That is a sign of weakness. Leave a week behind and you do not have any high time frame candle closes above the trend. Okay, let's go on to the 15-minute. I mean, you have 15-minute closes below, but I mean, it's breaking down. Okay, it's also lost the high. So this is bearish, right? This is bearish. It looks like it's losing the high unless it finds support and it leaves some weak behind. But what is interesting about the structure, legends, is that if I go and zoom into this structure, okay, this structure does look impulsive. It does look like you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here somewhere. You can count 5 waves. However you want to count it, you can count 5 waves inside of this impulse here to the upside. Okay. and the fifth wave ended on lower volume. That's usually what I look for. Nice third wave, nice fifth wave, which ended on lower volume, so that there is still the potential. Okay, this could make a three-wave structure with a higher low, not claim these lows, and continue momentum to the upside. Okay, especially if you're going to build bullish CVD between this pivot and this pivot. So it definitely has, this structure has the potential to form a higher low. If there is no signs of strength, no bullish CVD, okay, right, this is unfortunately a zone where you could have a deeper correction to the downside. I just want to see, do we have some daily levels? I just want to switch on some daily levels. You're a little bit further down. Let me check. Maybe I didn't add all of them. I mean, yeah, that is the only daily level we have. Okay, let's check weekly. No weekly levels. Right, let's go into the 1 hour and just check the session volume profile. Just wait for that to load up. We do have point of control. And I can't use this one yet because the day's not finished. I was waiting for this point of control to get hit. With this momentum yet to the downside, I was waiting for a long over here. And then it just front run. And then I played the long over there. And that is why I love trends, legends. This is why I love trends. Because you're waiting for a level, it doesn't get hit, then your alarm goes off and you make a trading decision. Claim the high to perfection. So I have a successful day trade in the bag. Right. So, I mean, from a bearish case perspective as well, legends, if this is the end of the diagonal, if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is the end, you can still expect a larger three-wave structure to the downside, because this correction could potentially correct this entire structure. Okay, where you then have a 1, 2, 3 to the upside. Okay, that looks like a great bouncing zone. You have a naked point of control, a daily level over here, and you have this area that will provide support. And now that we have the high, we can actually now take a fib, because remember during the beginning of the stream, I said that I want to see a fib here from the low to the high, and then now we can see some areas of confluence. I mean, the best area is this zone over here. Okay, you have a naked point of control, a daily level, 0.618. You have these pivots. Okay, so if things gets nasty here to the downside and the CME gap is there, beautiful. So then you'll close the CME gap. Okay, this could form a beautiful higher low where you then have a 1, 2, 3 to the upside. So this could form a beautiful higher low over here. Okay, it would be nice to see some signs of strength between this pivot and this pivot. Maybe there's some bullish CVD building, but we do have some areas of confluence. Okay, so you basically form a 5-wave structure in a leading diagonal. And guys, you know how leading diagonals work is, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm looking at this structure. Okay, so you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, and then off to the races we go. Never guaranteed, and this is why I'll be observing the price reaction when we get here. Right, but I mean the 382, if price is extremely bullish, you could bounce by the 382. We have an untapped naked point of control, 0.382. Usually when you have an impulse to the upside and you come down for correction, you find a bounce by the 382. But I mean, this area by the 618 does look more juicy. And like the legends are mentioning Gullion, we have a CME gap there as well. Okay, so maybe we go and close that CME gap and still form a bullish structure. But this is definitely a sign of weakness. Okay, failed to claim the trend. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. So I can count 5-wave structures here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this could be a larger correction to the downside. Or is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Whew, not easy. Because now I'm thinking if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in 1, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in 3, ooh, what if you still have to make another fifth wave? Where you then have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then ABC. Sure, it wouldn't surprise me if the market does that. Okay. Right, legends. Thank you so much for watching the live stream. Smash up the like on your way out. This is unfortunately all I have time for today. Thanks for spending the time here on the live stream. And I will see you guys in the next one, and which is tomorrow. So have a great evening. And until the next one, just for now.